Good morning. Happy Tuesday to everyone out there. I am Kim Kesti, Creative Director here at Fun Stamper's Journey. And how'd you like that new opening? Did it feel a little cozy, a little cold? Well, I have to admit, it's not very cold here in Arizona. It's probably going to be in the 70s today. But we can always pretend, right? We can pretend it's got a little snow going on. Irregardless, today is a fun day for me. As always on Tuesday, we are here to feature some tools, tips, and techniques and have so much fun. We call this video series T3. And again, welcome whether you're watching us on Facebook or tuning in over on YouTube. Welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to have some fun with the Gel Press. Now the Gel Press is a fun little tool that Fun Stamper's Journey has carried for a little bit, but I'm constantly finding new ways to use it and new techniques to use. And so today I thought I would bring in a few of our other fun tools that we have and kind of do a little combo, mix up, mash up here, and just really get into a few more different things you can do with the Gel Press. So I hope you have as much fun watching as I do playing. So let's get to it. So again, our Journey Gel Press is this little fun guy, and here's the packaging, which maybe shows a little bit better how it comes. It comes in this nice little clamshell, which is how I like to store my Gel Press also. But it's a very unique product. It's just really a thick jelly plate is what we kind of call it. And because it's got so much give on it, it really is fun for adding texture to your projects. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. And never fear if your Gel Press gets some of this yummy inky mess on it. Doesn't affect the quality. If it does get super inky, I'll go ahead and wash it with warm soap and water, and I am good to go for the next time. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to actually bring in one of our fun other products we have, and this is one of our embossing folders. This is a newer folder. We call this the fiddle leaf because, yeah, you can guess why, because it looks like a fun little fiddle leaf pattern on the folder. And I'm going to go ahead and do two different techniques with it. Well, not actually two different techniques, but I'm going to show you a way to use it with two different ink products, I should say. So I've got our Blue Lagoon ink pad, and then I've also got our Cool Pool Reinker. So both of these are our True Color Fusion inks, and that means they're an amazing combination of pigment and dye ink, and they work beautifully on the Gel Press. We haven't used the ink as often as we use the reinkers. At least I haven't in my videos, so I think this is going to be fun. So I'm going to start by adding some of the Cool Pool Reinker to my Gel Press. And I'm just giving it a decent little coat here. And then I'm going to bring in one of my brayers, which is right here. I'm going to go ahead and brayer that Cool Pool out a little bit. And see how wonderfully it spreads on this Gel Press? Just kind of pools right up there. Awesome. And now I could do one thing right now without even adding ink to this folder. I could go ahead and use this folder as a stamp and pull off some of that ink off the Gel Press. But instead, I'm going to show you something a little bit different. I'm going to go ahead and take the front of the folder, which is the part with the logo on it, and I'm going to add ink. So this is a little bit darker ink than my Cool Pool, and I'm doing that purposely so I can get that fun little contrast. I guess I don't necessarily have to lay it on my Gel Press, but you're just going to want to ink this up straight from your ink pad. And again, the part with the logo has got the pattern that I want, which is mostly the background. And this doesn't have to be inked up perfectly. You know, it doesn't really matter if I have some ink, you know, not enough ink around the edge or whatever. But I do want a generous coating on the majority of the folder. So now this is puddled up a little bit, so I'm going to smooth out my Gel Press reinker here. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay it down, like I mentioned earlier, kind of as a stamp. I'm just going to press down firmly. And so what this is going to do is transfer a lot of that ink that I had on my folder to my Cool Pool reinker that I already have on there. And it's going to kind of blend and mush and mash, and that's exactly what I want. Now I'll pull it up. And it also has left some of the pattern there, obviously, which you can hopefully see on the video, but you will see in a moment because I'm going to do what I call pull the print now. This is a mono printing technique, and it means you're going to get one print from every time you add new media to it. So this is just a plain piece of copy paper. I like to put it on top, and then I can go ahead and push this down as hard as I want and not get my hands quite as inky, although they have a little bit of ink on them, and that's okay. I don't mind if I get a little inky and messy. So I'm going to first remove that copy paper, set it aside. I'll reuse that, and then I'm going to pull my print. And look how much product it picked up from the gel press. There's virtually nothing left on it. I love that so much. So check it out. So much fun. I've got the original Cool Pool, which you can see in here. And then I've got a lot of that yummy Blue Lagoon just kind of mixed and melded just by the use of that embossing folder. What a fun way to use an embossing folder, right? It's so much fun. And what is super unique about this process is that every single time you pull a print, it's just a little bit different. I could use this same ink and this same reinker in combination probably 10 different times and it would turn out different every single time. So do you want to see the card that I made earlier? And we'll see if my original print is a little bit different, which I think it is. All right, so here's the card I created with this print. And as you can see, I probably have a little bit more of the Cool Pool on here and maybe a little bit less of the Blue Lagoon. Of course, it dries slightly lighter, but you can definitely see this has got a little bit more green to it. I love both of my prints so much. And really, to finish a card, once you've made a print with your gel press, you don't need much. You just need very, very little embellishment. I went ahead and did the sentiment with our, I'll pop this in here, Remarkable You stamp set. I'm going to use that again in a minute. This is a fantastic stamp set. It has so many gradings that are just perfect for all those everyday occasions that you have. And I just popped it up on a circle. I have a couple of our little fashion silvers. You guys know I'm obsessed with these lately. Our little silver dots. They're so much fun. But how fun and how simple, right? Absolutely love that. Okay, so I'm going to set that one aside, and I'm going to do the same inking technique, the same type of thing with reinker and ink pad. But this time I'm going to use a different tool. I'm going to grab one of our stencils. So let's check it out and see how that works. It's going to be different than the embossing folder, but I think it'll be really fun too. So again, I'm going to use 2 shades of berry. And you will notice that when I have both of those shades of ink, I always like to do that kind of as a monochromatic look. So whether it's greens, pinks, blues, purples, I will always try to pick a little bit darker tone, which is my sweet berry in this case, and a little bit lighter tone, which is the watermelon. It just gives you super good results when you have 2, similar colors of ink. Now, it would be fun for anyone out there who's really brave to take, maybe contrasting colors, or maybe a yellow and an orange or something like that, and see what you can come up with. I'm a little bit nervous about putting 2 colors that are super contrasty together because I think it might turn a little muddy. I don't know. What do you guys think? You'll have to experiment after you watch this video and tell me what luck you have. Okay, so now I have my watermelon reinker, and you can see that just by pressing down with my brayer, I can spread that out with plenty enough room to have my get my pull from my whipped cream cardstock. And by the way, all this paper that I'm using is all of our just normal whipped cream cardstock. Nothing, no, watercolor paper or anything like that. Okay, so now I thought I'm going to scooch this up just a little bit. I thought I would take one of our Circle Bliss stencils, and you can use, of course, any stencil. But I'm just going to grab this and start adding some ink. I think I'll put a piece of copy paper underneath, and then I'll use it to do my pull also, just so it won't be quite so messy. So again, now I'm taking sweet berry and just putting it right on that stencil. The plastic or the mylar from the stencil will pick up that ink just fine. And I'll give you a tip for cleaning these in a minute too. Some of you might be going, oh my gosh, look at that stencil. It'll never come clean. But it's all part of the fun. Okay, so now I've got the sweet berry ink on here. I'm going to bring my gel press back in. Brayer it, because I just touched it a little bit there. And so I'm going to put it ink side down right over that watermelon. And I'm going to do 2 things. What I'm going to do first is go ahead and do a pull with the stencil on it. So because the gel press is so squishy and yummy, you can actually get your paper, and if we press pretty firmly, I'll probably bring this copy paper back in. If I press pretty firmly on here, the gel press is squishy enough that it'll come up right through that stencil. I don't know if it'll be super dark, but we'll see. We'll check it out. So here's my first pull, and wow, pretty good. So all that yummy ink just rubbed right through my stencil. and gave me a really pretty first pull. I love that. It almost looks like you've blended the ink on there, but just so pretty. So this is mainly the watermelon that of course is coming through, because where's our sweet berry? It's still under the stencil. So let's go ahead and pick that up. And now what I'm hoping has happened is I've taken the ink from here and transferred it to my gel press. So super fun. Now I get to do my second pull. So this is like a 2-for-1. I kind of try to line it up in the center of my stencil more or less. Bring my paper back and rub, rub, rub again. You guys, seriously, this is so addicting doing the gel press prints. It's like I just want to try all kinds of different combos of inks, and I'm going to have to get my paints out next. That's what I'm going to do, get my acrylic paints out. Okay, so now we've got our print. You ready? This will be like the ta-da moment. Here we go. Oh, yes, it's really pretty. Isn't that fun? Okay, so this is 2 different ways to use basically the same stencil. You're getting the positive and the negative. So I love that. Actually, the negative was first because we did that pull first. And then you're getting the positive. So, so pretty. Okay, so again, remember what I said about the gel press being different every single time. Let's check out the card I made earlier. And this was actually with this original pull. But I think what happened here is that I didn't press quite as hard. So I had some of that ink on there, and I didn't press quite as hard to get, so I got a little bit more of a variation here. But love it, so pretty. There's just no right or wrong way you can go with a gel press. Every time you do a pull, it's just so much fun. Let me show you how I embellished this card. First of all, I used again that same sentiment from Remarkable You. And this time for the embellishment, I just did something really simple. I used a little pack of our decor blooms. So these are like little resin blooms, super fun. And just a little smidge of our sparkle washi tape. So absolutely doesn't need much. Like I said, you really want to let the print be the highlight of your card, right? So fun, so awesome. Let me bring back my original prints in here. And I am just not kidding you. You can have so much fun with the gel press. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about it and maybe picked up a few little tips and techniques. But what's really fun and what's the best is when you grab your gel press and you grab any of our mediums and just go to town having fun and getting inky. It's the creativity that really counts. That's what I truly believe. So I hope you have an amazing week, and don't forget, bring paper to life as always.